Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Jason Ulrich with Top Shelf Traders. Thank you for joining. We've got a really good-sized group here today. Looks like the market's recovered a little bit, and the ES and the NQ at least filled that gap. Let's start with a quick sound and visual check. Hey, Andrew, thank you for joining. We've got the questions box open. We'll be using that throughout the course of the day today. Just give me a quick yes and yes if you can hear me okay, and if you can see Chad's screen okay. Right on. All right. We're going to have a few folks still coming in, so let's get that out of the way. All of you that are responding, thank you. We appreciate it. Perfect. Well, it's an absolute privilege to have our two guests here with us today. This is an exciting day for us here at Top Shelf Traders. We've got Chad Robbins with World Cup Advisors, and we have Stefano Serafini, the 2017 World Cup Trading Champion, with us here today. Now, I'll just share this very briefly. We survey the Top Shelf universe. We've got about 300-some thousand traders and investors out there, and we ask on an almost daily basis, well, hey, what is it that you're looking for? What's going to help your trading? What's going to help you look at the markets more effectively? Regardless of whatever level you're at, we're always interested in knowing. And overwhelmingly, we always hear the following things. We hear people looking for trade setups and methodologies that they can use and that they can apply in any market condition. We're also hearing a lot of demand for just reliable technologies or methods that can be used. Now, there's a lot of places we can turn for this information. And as you probably know, there's no shortage of people out there willing to offer their opinion. One of the things that we thought would be great through our partnership with World Cup Advisor, well, let's hear it from a champion trader. And so it's our privilege with our partnership with World Cup Advisors to bring this presentation to you and ultimately to introduce first Chad Robbins and then Stefano Serafini. So please keep in mind, first of all, there was a couple of folks that asked at the outset. Yes, of course, this session is being recorded. We'll keep this and we'll have a series of follow-up emails that we're going to send out. As always, please don't hesitate to ask questions throughout. I'll say in advance, as Stefano and Chad find their way through their comments and also present the content to us, there may be a fair number of questions that we save to the very end, and we'll be sure to leave time for that. So just know that if we don't answer your question right at the outset, we'll be sure to type a quick note in there, and we'll be sure to cover it at the very end. If for whatever reason we can't get to it during this webinar, I'm confident that either the Top Shelf team or the World Cup Advisor team will follow up with you. And of course, we don't want anyone to go away empty-handed from a session like this. So I'm sure there will be a special offer that is offered at the very end of this. So we see the questions coming in already. Peter, I see yours as well. We'll get to that in good time. But first, let me introduce Chad Robbins. Chad, it is great to have you with us today.
Jason, thank you so much for having us. It's truly a pleasure to be working with Top Shelf Traders. It is a pleasure to be introducing Stefano Serafini, our 2017 World Cup Trading Champion of Futures Trading. As Jason mentioned, I'm the Director of Business Development with World Cup Advisor. Really briefly here, everyone, our business model here was really built on these two pillars. The World Cup Trading Championships, perhaps many of you have heard of it. It is the longest running real money trading contest in the world, and also WorldCupAdvisor.com, in which we offer previous champions accounts for auto trade service or leader follower service. And I'm going to be getting into that in a lot more detail after Stefano's presentation today. We both mentioned Stefano won last year. He took a 217.2% net return in 2017. So, of course, very impressive. Without further ado, Stefano, are you there, my friend?
Yeah, hi to everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with you and discuss a little bit of myself and my methodology of trading. And hopefully it's it will be useful to someone to trade more with more methodology. So yeah, I will go very slowly on some slide. First of all, I would like to describe my background. That is not. Chad, can I manage it? Okay. So I'm a programmer first of all. So I have an IT high school. Then I have attempted an economics bachelor in Italy. Here in this period, I take my first trades on stocks, and after attending the master in finance, I developed my first model of stock picking covered by a short position and the future. So it's like an absolute return. Then I became a member of a local of the board of a local bank in Italy, and there I'll develop especially non-performing loans. After that, I really became interested in going more deeply in automation and trading systems. So I attended two courses with two persons that after became friends of mine. And here it's mentioned in these two programs. After that, I moved to Switzerland in order to become a professional trader. Here, I worked for a company. So then, but I was not ready enough to become a full automated trader. So I attended a trading masterclass in New York with the past winners of the competition that we have mentioned before. That is Andrea Unger, Kevin Davey, Tim Rea, and Michael Cook, that you for surely know. So this allowed me to become last year the World Cup champion in future trading and obtaining the second place on the index future trading competition on the fourth quarter. Now I'm an advisor at World Cup Advisor, and we will describe later what exactly this program is. So today we will describe about a sum up of what is my methodology in developing trading systems. So here in literature, we know that there are three main areas of type of trading system. The first one, that is the common one, is the counter trend or reversal. Here, we are trying to get against the trend. So we are trying to selling high and buying low. Instead of the second type of trading system, that is the trend follower. Here, we are trying to catch the trends by buying highs and low. And the last one that is not so common is the bias or intraday seasonal, as someone called them. For example, also Larry Williams called them intraday seasonal. We will show. I will show you quite at the end how I build my portfolio and some tricks to use in order to reduce drawdowns and to have a better portfolio. And at the end, I will show the technology that I use. So we will go through a lot of themes. So describing the first methodology is the counter trend. As I said before, what I do usually is trying to test what happens to buying the lowest low of N bar and selling the highest high of N bar. So imagine a box of bar. You take the highest high, and if the market touched this level, you enter short, and you will cover the position at the lowest low. Here, what I've seen from my study is that this type of trading system really works good when already a trend is quite at the end. So after the market has moved very fast, it's very probable that the market will create a lateral area or a compression area where the market will reverse. I use several techniques of exit, but one of the most profitable ones is exit after N bar if you are in a gain position, and exit after N bars if you are losing. So it's a time exit. For sure, you have to put a stop loss and the take profit, and especially the take profit is very important in counter trend system, because the market usually rebounds only for a small amount, and usually the counter trend has big stop losses in order to allow the market to reverse. This expose you to or your trading system expose you to losses when a trend starts. So as you can see in the picture, the market before was in a compression area, rebouncing on the high and the lows. But what happens if a trend starts? So we will move to the next slide. I will show you the trend follower trading system is just the opposite of the previous one. So we are selling the lowest low of N bar, selling short. So in a box area, we are selling the lowest low in order, or supposing that the market will break out and go away from this box. And as I write here in the slides, the trend follower usually start after a compression area. So when the market move not so fast and create a lot of high and lows that are very close to each other, there I put two order, sell and buy on the highest R, and the first one, which is touch, I enter in the position. So here, what changed respect to the counter trend is that the time exit usually cuts the gain, because trend follower have a low probability to have a winning trade, but the winning trade usually is very high compared to the stop losses that in this case are much more smaller respect to the counter trend. So here it was what I found from my study. It's that is not as dangerous as the counter trend, this methodology, because as you know, trend is your friend. So, but the hard part here is to find where the trend starts. Here is one method to enter in a possible trend. Also, the take profit here cuts the gain. So usually here, I exit if the market has already moved or other condition, but usually the take profit is not a good idea. The last methodology that I want to show you is much more innovative. Here, what I've do is to simulate to buy the first hour of the day, and the second hour, and the third, and the fourth, and so on. So we have usually on future, we have 23 hours, and I've simulated to buy only the first hour and to put on a chart how much gain it made over 10 years. What I see here, it's that there is a seasonal during the day and the last 10 years that starting from the 8th bar to the 14th, you see that all the bar are red bars. So probably there is a downtrend starting from the 8th bar, that it doesn't mean that is the 8 o'clock. So because each market starts at different times. But if you number each bar and you test it, you could see this seasonals. So you see here in this market, we have a downtrend seasonal from 8 to 14 bar, and a long bias starting from 15 to the end of the session. So what I've do here more in detail, I want also to see if this seasonal is also in the last 3 years. If we go on the next line, I've made the same test over the last 3 years in order to have an out of sample test. And what I've seen here is that the bias is already in this market. So I've tried to code it and see how the equity lines move. If we go in the next line, Chad. Okay, sorry. One type of other intraday seasonal is also to verify which day of the week it is. It could be quite curious and meaningless for someone, but I asked Jason before starting the presentation to show you what happens in the last crash of the market on the E-mini S&P. Here, what appears from this chart, it's that Tuesday usually is a long bias day on the E-mini S&P. If you remember, on February the 5th, when the market crashed on -5%, it was a Monday. And the day after, the market rebounds, and it was a Tuesday. So it's quite curious to see that this bias still on the market on the mini S&P. Can you show Jason the chart, please?
Of course, I'll pull it up right now. Just one moment. Stefano, hopefully you can see my chart okay. We've got it pulled up.
I can see. So if you see here, we have the E-mini S&P charts, and the market crash on Friday about 2%, and then it goes much more deeper weakness until Monday. And here you see then when Tuesday starts here, it's exactly the bottom. Now, not there, but if you go here, yeah, this is the starting of the day, and this is a Tuesday. So from here, the market rebounds. Okay, it was just to show you that this type of studies are already in the market and still work. So, but if we go back on slide, I will have, I have to, can we go back to the slide,
Yes,
please?
no problem. Chad, I'll go ahead and pass it back over to you right now.
Got it.
Okay, so here what you have, we have to take care about fitting, because here we get too much in detail in the market. So we have to only have a big picture and take some ideas from this bias. But in order to avoid fitting, what I usually do is, in the next slide, please, Chad. I use some methods in order to study the data. So there are different possibilities to study data using tester or trading system. The first possibility is to use all the data that we have, build the trading system on this one, and then put it in real money. What I've seen in my experience is that this is not a good idea, because here in this case, the possibility to have overfitting is very high. What I usually do is to use method B or method E. So method B, I usually take out from my studying period an out of sample data period. Let's say, for example, I use 30% of the data that are in out of sample, and I usually use it in the past recent period. So let's say, for example, we have a 10 years period of time and we want to build a trading system. I use only the first 7 years, and then I take blind from my study the last 3 years. And there I verify if I have made overfitting or not. And only after that, if the equity lines run ups also in this period, then I will take it in real money only after this checking period. There are some other possibility. Someone used the out of sample in the past. Let's say, for example, in 2000 day, like the C examples. I not prefer to use this method because you are not avoiding overfitting, because you are studying only in the recent period. But it's up to you. You can also use this method. I personally do not use the method D. It's a mix of the previous one, so you use a part of out of sample at in the last time and really in the past. The last solution is the work forward analysis. It's a sort of scrambling period of out of sample and in sample period, and this is maybe the much more useful tools in order to avoid fitting, or to use it to adapt the parameters to the recent volatility of the market, or because let's think about optimizing a stop loss. So there are periods in the past where the volatility is much higher. So maybe in those periods, we need a much higher stop loss instead of the last years that the volatility was very low. So stop losses could be much more smaller. So yeah, to sum up, I use method B and method E. I use it to make my test in TradeStation, and just because I'm much more familiar with setting the parameter of the out of sample. Chad, if we go to the next slide, I will show you that in TradeStation there is a possibility to set up our out of sample period. Here you see that I can exclude the first or the last part of the data, or you can also choose the exact data that you want to avoid. Let's say maybe 2008 you want to avoid in optimizing it, but you want to see also the system in this period. So this is what I usually do. If you do like this, the optimization, what happened in TradeStation, it will came out an index that is called robustness index. If we go to the next slide, Shad. Okay, here it's what came out from the optimization report from TradeStation. There are different type of possibility to choose the best solution. What I found out is this robustness index that show you how the equity line is correlated in sample data and out of sample data. So the formula that they use is to choose the best solution in terms of the ratio, the net profit over the max drawdown with the highest robustness index. Just remember that this robustness index goes, if it's close to 100, is saying that is the equity line is correlated one to the past and in sample period. So, okay, it was just a trick to build much better trading systems. So I usually look at the highest here, as you show, as it's shown by their arrow. I choose the solution with the 78% of robustness index. That is also the highest solution with the lowest drawdown. Okay, moving forward, here to sum up, method and discipline. So testing your idea and then put it into a code allowed you to see how it will be your profit and the risk you want to take in the market. So here I show you the example that we made in the intraday seasonal in the slide before. Here is the example on the 60-minute bar chart. We are selling short the bar number 7, buying to cover at number 14, and then we enter long until the end of the session. Here, without any filter, you see that this bias is really strong. So I will not tell you for sure on which market, but you will find it if you look at it. So can we go to the next slide? Talking about portfolio now, when you have a lot of trading system, what you have to do is to choose a portfolio that is as much as possible decorrelated, because what I've take from my study of finance, it's the Markowitz concept of portfolio construction, where here you have two assets A and B. Imagine that these two assets, instead of stocks, are equity lines. So if the equity lines are as much as possible decorrelated, the cumulative drawdown with respect to the return of the whole portfolio will be much more higher, the return, and lower the standard deviation or drawdown. I show you in the next slide what I mean with correlated or uncorrelated trading system, and you will see visually what it means. Here on the left, you see two equity lines. Imagine that these two equity lines are two trading systems on different market. But what I see here immediately visually is that the drawdown and the run-ups of the equity line are very correlated. So it's not what I'm looking for, because I want to see the example on the right. So when one system is running up and the other one should be or flat or losing some money, in order to reduce the whole drawdown of the portfolio. In fact, if you sum up these two equity lines, you will obtain a line, because they are perfectly correlated. This in real money, it never happened exactly, but the idea is to move as closer as possible to this model. So one type of really fast solution to test if your portfolio is decorrelated and see what I've shown you in the previous slide is in multi-charts. That is another software. You could put together different trading system on different time frames and see this is a correlation matrix based on daily equity lines of the different trading system. By the way, this matrix is exactly the matrix of the portfolio of the competition of the last year. So what I've done before starting the competition was to test which of my system I could put together in order to reduce as much as possible the volatility and the correlation between the equity lines. As you see, the second trading system is very decorrelated, also negative with the third and the fourth one. So this was a really powerful portfolio. And this is what I usually look at in order to build a portfolio. And yeah, we move to the next slide. And now, talking about technology, there are some points to take care. So one thing is to have a virtual server, someone and as much as closer to your broker in order to reduce slippage, and also in order to avoid some problems that could be, for example, blackout. In fact, one of the problems that came out very common with an in-house solution is blackout or other things that cannot happen with a virtual server. The other thing to take care is to have precise data. So there are some broker that, for example, aggregate data. So instead of giving you tick by tick data, they aggregate, for example, 30-second data. And there is a possibility to have mistakes. So what I use is TraceStation. That is one of the, not the best solution, because maybe there are better data feed compared to TraceStation, but they are too costly. So for a retail trader, TraceStation is for sure one of the best solution. Talking about the software, as I mentioned two software. One is TraceStation that allowed you to send orders also on the broker that is TraceStation itself. Instead of multi-chart, that is only a software that takes the data feed from different data provider and send order through different broker. By the way, this was the competition was made with multi-charts. So I was taking the data feed from TraceStation and sending the orders to ADM. One advantage of TraceStation is that if you have more than one trading system on one market, you can immediately manage with a trade manager your overall position in the portfolio, because it's very powerful. This trade manager, you can see visually immediately if you are aligned with your strategy, because one of the things that happens in automating trading is that maybe the position is not aligned with your strategy. So this is a common problem that has automated traders. The last thing that I want to talk about is broker. Broker need to be efficient with industrial cost. And if it's possible, what I look at is if they have more than one depository bank, in order to avoid the bankruptcy of your broker and you lose all your money. So here are a briefly description of technology problem that you could have in automation and in trading. So Chad, here I want to talk about 2018. What could happen this year? So this year, as I suppose at the early starting, I suppose that it was much more volatile respect to last year. Well, last year the volatility was really low, and with a strong trend on index, and quite on other markets. So what I usually look, it's to look at which system that I have are performing very well in the recent period, in order to predict how or which market should be more profitable. In my case, what I've seen at the early beginning of the 2018, what the gasoline and crude oil was really a trendy market, except the last day that we have seen a lot of travels on crude and gasoline. But this year, what I think will be very trend follower on these two markets. And I'm expecting also that it will go higher, crude and gasoline overall the year. So as we talked before, I expect high volatility on index with big swings. And what scared me, and what I think what scared also other investors, is the treasury bond market or the treasury note. I'm wondering if a downtrend will start, and what will happen to index future. I suppose that the downtrend will not be so strong, but I think would be very slow with a lot of compression area in order to avoid an index future crash, because the two markets are really correlated also in the last days. If you look at these two markets, they are very correlated. And it seems that investors are looking at the yield that is coming from the treasury and compare it to the dividend yield of the stocks. So these two markets will be very correlated in the next year. So thank you to everybody. I hope it was interesting for you. Hopefully you have some new idea to develop, a new idea in order to make new trading system.
Stefano, thank you so much for doing the excellent presentation today. Thank you to all the attendees that hung in there that whole time. I just wanted to really briefly go over exactly what the services that we offer at worldcupadvisor.com, explain our auto trade service, and I also have just a couple small announcements. For all those that attended today, you do qualify for 1 month of free auto trade service from worldcupadvisor.com. If you are interested in exploring that, all you need to do is type more info or more info please in the question box. We'll make sure to reach out to you right away as soon as possible with more information on that. So what is it that we do at worldcupadvisor.com? Well, we offer an auto trade service, and I want to define and show you exactly how that works. This is just a diagram explaining how our leader follower software works. So essentially, we have the advisor on the left side there. Let's call him Stefano for today. Stefano does one main thing with us, and that is essentially trading his own accounts with his own money. You know, all of our advisors at World Cup Advisor need to do one thing, and that is trade their own money. So what we offer to do is to literally link your account to his, and that when he places a trade in his own account, that order gets routed automatically to our leader follower technology that intercepts Stefano's order and redeploys it to the market in a block order. Now that data gets driven to the World Cup Advisor website as well as to the exchanges all simultaneously, and it produces an average price fill for everybody, including Stefano. So the point there is that if you decided to follow any of Stefano's programs with World Cup Advisor, you know, your experience in your own account would be the same exact experience that Stefano's having in his own personal account. In other words, there is zero slippage. There's no difference between your fill price and Stefano's fill price on any given trade. Now, if you decided to follow any of Stefano's programs with World Cup Advisor, we will handle the execution for you, 100% automated. However, you will also get live update email notifications anytime Stefano does anything in his account. So this is just an example of what a live update email looks like. You could see here it's Stefano's Moonwatch program, and he got filled. Essentially what that does is notifies you to log into the website and see exactly what that is. Now, you don't have to do that. We're going to handle the execution for you automatically. So this is somewhat of an additional tool that we offer to help keep clients informed during the trading day. Now, if you are a subscriber of Stefano's, you will have full access to the World Cup Advisor website for that program. This is a screenshot of Stefano's Moonwatch program's open positions page. This is all marked to the market in real time. So if you were following Stefano's Moonwatch program and you logged in during the day when he's got positions on, you can see in real time what they are, and you can see them moving with the market. So you can really keep yourself informed throughout the day if you'd like to. Again, you don't need to do that. This is just value added to what we do here to help keep you informed during the trading day. Now, anyone can go to the World Cup Advisor website, create a guest member login for yourself, and then you'll be able to access all of the closed positions for any of the World Cup Advisor programs. Now, there's a ton of data there, of course, because we list every single trade. So, you know, the website is completely transparent. You can really comb through every single trade that Stefano or any of the advisors have done. You can really dig into the data if you wanted to. Now, as I mentioned a couple times already, we do handle the execution for you on a fully automated basis. We do have a lot of clients who will log in during the day, check the orders, check the open positions multiple times if you like. But a lot of clients don't do that at all, and they simply depend on their daily statement or their monthly statement from their FCM. I'm sure most or all of you know what that looks like. This is just a screenshot of a sample. On World Cup Advisor, each advisor has a full biography page. So if you're interested in Stefano, you want to learn a little bit more about him and his background, you can certainly access that with a guest member login on worldcupadvisor.com. And each program we offer has a full specifications page. Now, it's going to answer a lot of questions that you may have right away, like what markets does this program trade? How often does it trade? Does it use options? What types of orders does it use? And it will also disclose what the monthly subscription fee is. All of our programs charge a flat monthly fee. That is essentially how advisors are compensated on our business model. They don't participate in commission or incentive fees or management fees, none of that. Simply a flat monthly subscription fee. Now we have a specifications page for each program. This is a screenshot of the Moonwatch program, and here's a screenshot of Stefano's Sundial program. Now we do everything here on a somewhat unique basis, and that is we do everything on a per unit basis. I just want to take one moment to explain what that is. Let me just read the definition to you. A unit is equivalent to the quantity traded by the advisor on each trade and may vary from program to program. So if you wanted to follow any of Stefano's programs, you know, we would be able to advise you on a real-time basis exactly how much you should fund your account with. And that would be considered one unit to follow him. Now, every program we offer at World Cup Advisor has a CTA-style full performance report. This is a sample of what Stefano's Moonwatch program full CTA-style performance report looks like. Now, we're broadcasting live today, so we can't disclose the actual performance. But of course, you can go to the World Cup Advisor website, create a guest member login, and you can access this information yourself. If you prefer, of course, reach out to us and we can send that to you directly. Just want to post my contact information up on the screen, and I'm going to kind of comb through some of these questions. I know they've come in a ton throughout the presentation. Most of them, honestly, were based on performance, and we can't disclose that in a live format. However, you can certainly access all the performance information on the worldcupadvisor.com site. And if you prefer to receive a phone call and or email, you know, please reach out to me and I'd be happy to address any of your questions or concerns. Jason, I'm just going to take a brief moment and kind of comb through some of these questions that came in, see if I can address any with the last couple minutes we have here.
Of course. Go ahead. You'll see one there from Rob. When an advisor opens a position, do we also see the stop loss and take profit? As you're going through there. And just a quick reminder for the group, one of the things that struck us about the World Cup, which we love, is it's completely transparent. So you have the opportunity to follow Stefano. And if you want more information on the program, just as Chad mentioned, go ahead and just type more info in the box, in the questions box. More info in the questions box.
Thank you,
And
Jason. Yeah, and that'll qualify you for a 1-month free subscription to any of Stefano's programs. Regarding viewing open positions and seeing the stop losses and taking profits, that will vary a bit from program to program depending on how that specific advisor trades. You will certainly see the open position as it gets filled, and you'll get an email notification when it does get filled. If the stop loss order is placed right away, you will see that as well. If it's not sent right away, then you basically will see it when the advisor chooses to put that stop loss on. When the advisor takes a profit, similarly, you will get an email notification when he's filled on that order, and you'll be able to log into the site and see exactly what that was. And in addition to that, you'll always be able to see, where you got filled on your statements, of course. And, if your FCM has a portal, you could verify all that in the portal as well. Had some questions on units and, how much an account should be funded with. Honestly, that number really varies from investor to investor, depending on your risk tolerance and your goals. We always will default to recommending that you fund your account with how much the advisor is currently trading with on that day. So, we would be able to advise you on that basically on a day-to-day basis because that number changes. And also lots of questions on recordings. Yes, we are recording today's presentations. We will follow up with all of those that request a recording, and we will supply you with some more information on the World Cup Advisor programs. And if there's any other, more questions or anyone needs clarification on any of Stefano's presentation or mine, please shoot me an email or give us a call. Be happy to help you. Wanted to just take a moment, thank Jason, Top Shelf Traders. Thanks for having us on. It's been a great experience working with you, and today's audience was excellent. We had a very big audience, and almost everyone hung in the whole time, so really appreciate that. I hope to be hearing from many of you, and I hope to assist you with answering any questions you may have on World Cup Advisor. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you, Chad. Awesome presentation. Thank you to everyone for joining. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I'll give it, because we still have some responses here filtering in before we let everyone go. That's 30 days free for the subscription. Just go ahead and type more info if you haven't yet already, and we'll go ahead and make sure that you get that. So before we let everyone go, I'll leave it open just for a minute or so. This, of course, is being recorded. We will send a follow-up email with the details. And we will, of course, make Chad's contact information available too. Of course, Barry, absolutely. We would love to get you more information. Justin, perfect. Jim, absolutely, we'll get you more information. Frank, we got it, no problem. We'll get you more information. Gosh, what a great group we have here today. Jay will get that. Jim, absolutely. Before we sign off here, just want to give folks one last chance if they'd like more information. Not often you get a 30-day free subscription, so I just want to make sure that everyone gets that chance to raise their hand. Douglas. Perfect. Esteban, of course. All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and call it good there. Chad, thanks again. Stefano, thank you very much, sir. And look for the next invite for our next event. We look forward to having World Cup back. And if there's anything else that we can provide, please let us know. All right. We'll go ahead. We'll leave it open here for just a minute or two as we come into the halfway mark of the hour, just so that anyone that wants more info can go ahead and type that in. We'll get that in and recorded and off to you. You'll hear from an outreach from the World Cup team. For sure, Wayne, no problem. Those of you that are just coming back in, this is for the 30-day free subscription. More information on that and more information on how you can follow Stefano, the 2017 World Cup champion. It's a pretty fantastic program. Okay, Peter, no problem. Chris, absolutely, no problem. All right. Chad, what do you say we call it good there and call it a day?
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, everyone. Have a great afternoon. We'll talk to you soon. Good day, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Take care.